Okay, I want to do a trade review real quick. So let's start with yesterday. We had this big reversal, surprise reversal. And for most of the day, the idea was get long, right? Basically, coming into this. This is a fresh chart, by the way. We don't normally use this Binance, but whatever. It's because I have stuff on the other chart that I don't want to erase on my BitMEX. Anyway, we typically have, I mean, we like already have this, right? Um, Second leg down, and then this bounce here, um, which, funny enough, we considered shorting this candle here, this bottom. I think we might have actually even shorted it and then kind of cut it break even or something like that. And then we're going to talk about how we long up here. So, kind of been a little bit of a rough couple of nights, I guess you could say. But that's okay. You just have to keep doing what you can and trying your best. So, uh, yeah, I think we wake up at like this candle. We're already in like 39 fours, 39 fives, whatever. Like we've already hit this level, right? Um, and I think on the 4 hour, it looks a lot more. Yeah, like on the 4 hour, we're like here at this time. We haven't gotten all the way up here. We're kind of like right here. But this is looking like quite a strong potential reversal here. So let's start on the 15. Looking for signals, not really any good tradable signals. Um, after this, after this pump, this is the only time that it kind of makes sense to be looking for like buy above any candle. But obviously, this is not a time that we're awake for. But yeah, this would be buy above this bar, um, stop underneath it, looking for this reversal, slowly channeling very weakly and, kind of meagerly down here. So exactly what we're looking for. Nice pump here. But if you miss that, there's no, you can try and take this one, but that ends up not really working out for you unless you end up buying this level. We're moving a stop all the way down here. So those are nothings, those are nothings, those are nothings. The whole day, nothing, 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 nothing. And then we get this tap back into the, um, what's it called? Into the channel. And then we get this strong bar here. Kind of enough space looking like possibly one leg down, second leg down, and we could be going. Great follow through on this bar, and then we go here, right? I definitely did. I mean, like I noticed this as it happened, but this is it's not so early in the day, but yeah, I didn't take it. I think I was. Uh, Excuse me. I went to make breakfast. I didn't take it. I saw it, and then I went to make breakfast. My dog eats breakfast at 11:30, so I went to make a slightly early breakfast for her and for myself. And then by the time I came back, we were like, I think it was almost noon, so we were like already had pumped to 40,200. So that one kind of missed, but at that point I was like, yeah, bro, I needs it. I need to get something going here because we're gonna miss this kind of move and like the strength here. You're starting to realize that okay, we're up only today. You have this strong spike and it results in this type of channel here. Excuse me. This is the channel now, right? Like, let's say the channel ends here, and then we have a spike here, spike, and then a nice little channel. But let's hit it back on the 1 hour now, because the next setup that you get, and I'm going to clear everything out here, the next setup you get is this bar here. Um, so really strong bar here, right? Really strong follow through bar, but it's an inside bar. I guess on Binance here, it's not an inside bar, but on the exchanges that we were trading or looking at, this was an inside bar as well. Um, we can, excuse me, we can consider it to be an inside bar. Um, so then this ends up being yet another inside bar, but this is a red closing inside bar. So now we're like worried about a potential for exhaustion here because 3 consecutive bars trying to push the highs but unable to push the highs and constantly being inside. So this is an II here. And then this is, again, on Binance, not an inside bar, but in fact on other exchanges, every other exchange, it is an inside bar. And so being patient through this bar, being patient through this bar, and being patient until the close of this bar. But this bar gets a great close. And this is actually the inside bar that you take a long above, stop below, and yeah, the target here is, first target is here, yep. Excuse me, this 40,700, 40,800 region is the first target. Second target probably closer to 41, maybe a little bit higher. We probably don't threaten this level on this target just because it is an inside, inside, inside. And as we know, when we have inside, inside, it is reasonably likely that this could be the final flag. So when you get an inside, 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 1, 2, 3 inside bars, oftentimes this is going to be the final flag. But this one we also missed. Why? I don't remember. I think I was cooking lunch or something like that. So very inconvenient timings. But that's okay. Sometimes it'd be like that. Um, and then you have this nice breakout bar here. You have yet another inside bar here, but this is a much larger inside bar. Excuse me. This is a much larger inside bar, so don't feel as confident in it, especially following this III, because for the same reason that we were nervous about this when it was just a couple bars, that it could be exhaustive and this could be the end of it. Having an inside bar coming off of an III, we are worried that there could be some exhaustion coming into play. Maybe this is, going to be the last flag of this, and this might be kind of where we top out. We do end up hitting close to the profit target, right? If you were in 40,700, you hit the profit target, but if you're at 40,800, not quite. We do get that here, though. Uh, Excuse me. I believe on other exchanges this was higher than this bar. It's very confusing. It's very annoying because decisions are made based on the highs relative to the other highs. So the fact that these are not inside bars here, the fact that this is lower than this, like these are weird things, right? In fact, let me pause it for a second and confirm. Yeah, this is higher than this on exchanges that are real exchanges. um, but anyway, this trend line is in effect. This trend line kind of broken and kind of putting in a higher high test. But we're still looking for a trade. We're still looking for a trade. And now daily close happens here. This is daily open, right? And on this exact same thing, like we saw this, and this is where we took our first trade of the day. But it was on Doge. It was not on Bitcoin. We were looking for the entry on Bitcoin, and I wasn't liking the lower time frames, I believe. Something about the 15-minute was just not rocking. I wasn't really rocking with too much. I think it was this close we got here because same kind of situation. We had this inside bar here, and then we were looking for an inside bar close here. But I wanted it to be green. If it was green, I would have bought on the spot. Was my plan. It doesn't close green. It closes red, and that makes me feel like yes, it's very possible that we might do something like this. And I don't need to be buying above this if we are going to drop. And the other thing is this is kind of barbed wiry. Like we have 1, 2 dojis and then these 2 dojis. Reasonable overlap between these two. We don't really have the overlap with these two as well, just this part. But with these two, with these 2 bars here, we have a lot of overlap with this one. So it's very reasonable that we might get exactly like this, except instead of it closing green, like it closes down here. as a strong reversal bar, and then we start going down. So I wasn't super excited about this play, and I decided to wait and be more patient. And so I end up actually looking on the 2 hour chart, which is not a chart that I typically look at. And I think it's kind of around here when we have these kind of little doji-esque things, which on the 1 hour chart we should recognize as being barbed wire, despite the fact that they are all green and they are all ascending. And they are potentially like making a bit of like a channel kind of thing. But let's remove the drawings and let's take a look here now. Yeah, so this Binance loves to not respect inside bars. It's very weird. This is an inside bar of this one on real exchanges. Here on Binance, they did not do that. But we have this inside bar here. I believe this is also an inside bar of this. Let me pause. No, this is not an inside bar. So this is an inside bar of this one, right? They have the same low, very similar low, which indicates to me that there should be some support at this level. Right at 400, it's like 380 or 380. I think it's 366 on Bybit or something like that. Is the low, and then like of this bar, and then this one is like 381 or something like that. I don't remember. And then this one breaks slightly above this inside bar to trigger the long, but we have not taken that long. We enter on this candle, I believe, because we see that this bar has triggered the long, and this bar is a little bit, a little like it's like right around here at this area. So I take the somewhat late long, but it's not late because it's still respecting the trade parameters. I put the stop down here, and the targets I layer in between. The first target I put just underneath this bar. The first target I put just underneath this bar's high. On this exchange, I would have gotten it filled, but I actually did not get it filled on my exchange by, I think, $3, I think it was. And at that time, I was in the shower, so I wasn't managing. Every time something happened yesterday, I was away. I was AFK. Kind of annoying, but it'd be like that sometimes. Yeah, this ends up dropping down to tap this level. That's where I fill more bids. So my overall average price is 40,505, I believe, with my first entry being at like 40,555. Then I get an entry at 40,493, and I think the last one was like 40,467 or something like that. And then it bounces at this 40,380 something level. So it does not take out my stop, and then bounces right back up to these 40,600. So at this point, I'm feeling reasonably confident that we're probably going to take a shot at the highs. I am nervous. I am nervous that, so this is the bar, right? This strong bar. I'm nervous that actually what happened with today's bar on our daily is going to happen on there. So like if you notice, we had this strong outside up bar, and then it immediately dumped through. This is now outside down. Ew, it's so ugly, so nasty. But I am nervous that because we're in this kind of trading range here, and this bar ends up spanning the entirety of the range, that maybe it's not a good buy to be in. But I also acknowledge that the strength is so much that it should propel us to a little bit higher. But yes, what I am nervous about is that we will have a 1 and a 2, a two-legged thing, and then dump cycle, endless dump cycle. So we're a little bit nervous, but we are feeling decent that we got good fills, and we have a reasonable price here now. Our price is now here, 505. Let me put that. Yeah, and our stop is still reasonably fortified. 1, 2, 3 taps that have all confirmed it as a support and not a level that wants to be run. And then we get this kind of weak channeling follow through, and I think this is really what sells it to me, is that we kind of channel, and then we break the high of the channel. I'm not looking at this on the 3-minute or the 5-minute. I'm not looking at it on the small time frames at all. I'm looking at only on 15 and like the hourly. So I see this, and we'll get this nice, beautiful pop here. And by the time I come out of the shower, I believe we're like right here or something like that. like 40,650 or 40,660. And this is kind of where I'm done. I don't really know how else to put it, but just those fears that we were saying, like we may get this little two-legged pop kind of thing. We have kind of like this channel A, channel here. We've acknowledged that like almost all of our entries have been inside bars, following an inside bar at the top of the spike, like in the channel phase now. It's hard to count the channel phase. You can kind of say one push, two push, three push, but it was really tough to do last night because it's not a clear and clean channel of, with pushes. So uh, that was something that was really hard to do. But yeah, basically here is the cut. This is the cut. So almost like a little bit, not quite break even, from like 40,500 to like 40,640 or 650 or something like that. So very meager profit, but yeah, we end up that does in fact end up being the end of the push. And I'm operating the trade that I took this on is kind of a smaller account. This is exactly what you need to do. You need to make these quick decisions that protect your capital. And if you end up being wrong, and if we end up just keep going higher and higher and respecting this channel, then that happens. Realistically, I should have been in from 39,500, wherever that entry was over here. And if I missed that, then the second realistic entry should have been over here, from at 40,200. I missed those. You can't keep chasing. That's something that happens to me a lot, is I miss the entry that I want. And so I decide to keep chasing because I see that I was right. But you can't keep being right. You're not going to be right forever. And if you did take this entry, like where would I have been closing? I probably would have been closing my profits at an area where now I'm taking the risk of opening a fresh long. That's just not the way to do it. Don't be opening fresh longs where you would otherwise be taking profits. And it is hard to do because you I think, especially with me in particular, I take profits early. I do take profits pretty early. I'm not the type to let my profits run and then come and then leave like a break even stop or something like that, or moving a trailing stop. I just tend to like to get my money out and look for the next opportunity. That way I don't have to be having one foot in and one foot out the door kind of mentality of, I'm still in a trade, so I don't want to risk some of my potential profits by opening a new long here, whatever the case may be. So yeah, so it's kind of this little trade review. I missed the trade here. This was an important trade to catch yesterday. I missed the trade here on the 1 hour, also an important trade to catch. And unfortunately, I caught the only trade that I should not have been. I caught the only trade that was not worth taking. And in doing so, I also missed the opportunity to short the massive, like this is a disgusting leg down. Like this is just horrifying, bro. This is just horrific. It's disgusting. Look how tight this channel is. Look how tight that is. Oh no, it's just unacceptable. So yeah. Anyway, this is this was the trade, yo. Unfortunately, it kind of went like this. I think the other hope was maybe we're gonna bounce here and then continue up and maybe make a channel this way. I mean, when you have this type of spike, you should, maybe expect like we might have a channel, especially if this is going to be kind of the end of the leg down, which is something that we were somewhat reasonably expecting, I think, right? Because we had this break here, that this trend line got broken, put in this high up here that got rejected, and then it ends up being uh, like if this is your new how did we draw it yesterday? Oh yeah, yeah. If you draw the trend line like this, right, instead, then this is actually the first pump, and this is your lower low test, and then you can expect two legs up from here. But instead, it ends up being like this. This is your trend line. This is your lower low test, and you end up getting two legs up from here, and the legs that you get are within a spike and a channel. And then from there, we dump down, and now we're in a dump phase again possibly expecting 2 legs down. That's hard to do. That's hard to recognize, and it's hard to trade because it is so subjective, right? Depending on how you're drawing your trend line. But now we have a very clear trend line like this as well. We really must be careful because it is starting to look, kind of wedgy. So we could certainly bounce from here and take another shot up at these mid 39s or something like that. Maybe kind of like do some sort of contracting here before we have a big bounce again. But it has to be very careful. We don't have a whole lot of room left because we start moving down to these low 30s and it just might be done. Anyway, this is neither here nor there. This was just supposed to be a quick trade review. So yeah, thanks for watching.